In this episode, we don some hard hats and explore Clifton Suspension Bridge like never before. When some of the bridge's original construction plans were lost, they took an amazing secret with them. These church-like chambers were forgotten about for centuries, so join us on this exciting trip as we head underground and unearth the bridge's best kept secret. We admire the surrounding area and share lots of tips for a fun day out exploring the bridge, including the best places to grab a drink or bite to eat with spectacular views. We also delve into some unusual Bristolian traditions and head to Clifton Observatory. We go underground again and explore the Giant's Cave before taking a walk and drive along the bridge. Before we start, I'd like to tell you about the Bristol Shop. It's an online marketplace supporting many talented Bristol-based artists. If you're after a Bristol souvenir, gift or piece of art, you can shop with us online and we deliver anywhere. I'll add the link to the description alongside useful information about all of the places we visit during this episode. We're starting the day at the Clifton Suspension Bridge Visitor Centre. We booked tickets for the hard hat tour of the vaults in advance and looked around the centre before meeting our tour guide.
The vaults were rediscovered in 2002 and this is where we're going today, underneath the Clifton Suspension Bridge.
This 1-hour historical tour covers the design, construction and rediscovery of the underground vaults in the Lee Woods abutment. When construction of the Clifton Suspension Bridge began in 1831, the eyes of the world were on 23-year-old Isambard Kingdom Brunel and his bold plan to build the highest and longest bridge in the world. Many of the bridge's secrets, like the vaulted chambers sealed inside the abutment, were lost when Brunel died. Before we descend, I'll quickly explain how the different parts of the bridge work and what we're exploring. Work on the Lee Woods abutment began in 1839. The abutments were created to shorten the distance that the bridge would need to be suspended across the Avon Gorge. The abutments support the towers from which the chains are hung. The chains hold 162 iron suspended rods, which hold the road deck in place, suspending it over the River Avon. Moving inland, the chain continues in the opposite direction and is anchored into the ground, taking the weight of the bridge at either side of each tower. Because no construction drawings survived, the abutments were believed to be solid. In 2002, during maintenance work, a shaft was discovered near the Lee Woods Tower by Ray Brown. It was initially believed to be a well shaft, but upon descending the shaft, the engineering team was amazed to discover 12 chambers. The tour guide showed us the location of the shaft that led to the discovery before taking us through a locked gate and walking us along the side of the abutment on the cliff edge. To access the vaults, you need to climb down a ladder, so you have to wear sensible footwear. The high-vis jackets and hard hats were provided by the visitor centre. This doorway was created by drilling away part of the abutment's outer wall so that the public can more easily access the vaults during guided tours. Upon entering, you can see where the natural cliff edge ends and the abutment begins. The arched ceilings are now covered in stalactites, which made the vaults feel even more atmospheric. The chambers are 11 metres or 36 feet high, or the same size as 3 double-decker buses on 2 stories. During the hour-long tour, we were shown around 2 of the 12 chambers. The passionate tour guide also shared engineering details and the human stories around how the bridge was built and how the vaults were rediscovered. They're linked by very narrow tunnels. At the end of the tour, the guide offered to take photos for everyone before we climbed back up the ladder and returned our high-vis and hard hats to the visitor centre. Clifton Suspension Bridge spans the Avon Gorge, viewed here from Cumberland Basin. Subscribe to my channel because I'll show you around Bristol Harbour in another episode. It is believed that the Avon Gorge was formed during the Ice Age, when the only way for melting water to run was along this route, which eroded the rock. To the left is Lee Woods, 440 acres of ancient woodland managed by the National Trust and Natural England. To the right is Clifton, which I'll also cover in another episode. From the top of the gorge there are several areas where you can admire Clifton Suspension Bridge, with the most popular being from Clifton Down. Many Bristolians or visitors to the city add a lovelock to the railings along the cliff edge, either to commemorate a special occasion or as a symbol of their love. This tradition was started on the Pont des Arts in Paris, and since then other places have become havens for these lovelocks. I guess it only takes one to start it. In Bristol, Perrow's Bridge is the most popular spot for lovelocks. Now we're heading to Clifton Observatory. Clifton Observatory has a long and varied history, and construction work began in 1766 when James Walters was awarded £200 by the Society of Merchants Venturers to build a windmill on Clifton Down. It's now a great place to grab a bite to eat and is a very popular tourist attraction, museum and event space. There are 3 floors to the museum. The first details a timeline of the observatory's history. The second floor holds information and early photography of Bristol, and on the top floor is a camera obscura. I'll cover the observatory in more detail in a future episode. From the observatory, you can also venture down into the depths of the Avon Gorge and visit the Giant's Cave.
Hard hats are optional because you have to duck. I'm quite short, so I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, this is the bit where you need to duck.
The cave is a natural opening in the limestone face of St Vincent's Rocks in the Avon Gorge. For centuries it was accessible only from the top of the gorge by abseiling down or by a steep climb up from the base of the cliff. In 1835 the caves were linked to Clifton Observatory by creating a 200 feet or 61 metre long tunnel. The cave opens out onto the cliff face, 250 feet or 76 metres above the Avon Gorge. The Giant's Cave offers breathtaking views and a truly unique perspective of the suspension bridge. You might need a head for heights, and I'd advise wearing more sensible footwear than I did because the tunnel, cave and extended platform can all get rather slippery. I'm now heading back up through the tunnel to show you a Bristolian tradition created by lots of Bristolians' bottoms over the decades. The Slidey Rock is a natural rock slide on the Avon Gorge that has been polished by thousands of Bristolians' bottoms sliding down the surface. It is a popular play feature which has become shiny due to the generations of Bristolians who have slid down the gradient. Did you know that most Bristolians grow up calling a slide a slider? I'm not going to lie, I was pretty devastated to learn it was just slide in my early 20s. We're now going to pass over the bridge by foot and take in some of the views. Maintenance work is currently being carried out. The bridge is repainted every 30 years or so. It's currently being painted grey. When the bridge was first built, it was painted brown with gold detail. I think it's a shame that it's not being painted to match the original design by Brunel. Clifton Observatory is a fantastic spot for lunch, but if you're looking for something a little more substantial, then the White Lion is a popular place to dine. It's also a great place to unwind, enjoying your favourite tipple. I know I sound like I should be a cider drinker, but I much prefer a stout. We're now going to drive over Clifton Suspension Bridge. There's a £1 toll to pass over the bridge. We're driving from the Clifton side to Lee Woods, up to the visitor centre. I hope you enjoyed this tour of Clifton Suspension Bridge. Like a womble, we went overground and underground, so I hope it's inspired you to have a grand day out, or that you enjoyed watching. Coming up, we visit the SS Great Britain and explore Bristol Harbour. For the most incredible views of Bristol skyline, we climb Cabot Tower. Don't forget, you can shop all things Bristol at the Bristol Shop. Watch this video for another great day out in Bristol.